The pregnancy test slipped from Lamara's trembling fingers and clattered against the tiled floor, the two pink lines staring up at her like an accusation. No, no, this can't be real. Her whisper barely made it past her lips before she heard it. A soft click that didn't belong. The lights flickered on. Her head snapped toward the bathroom door. A tall man leaned against the doorway, arms crossed, watching her with eyes that could cut glass. It's real. Lamara's breath caught. She knew that voice. Deep. Controlled. Dangerous. Kai Ren. How did you get in here? He pushed off the doorframe, moving like a predator who'd already cornered his prey. Your landlord owed me a favor. And since you're carrying my child. His gaze dropped to her stomach. I didn't feel like waiting outside. Lamara stumbled backward, her hip hitting the bathroom counter hard enough to bruise. We met once. One night. You don't even know me. Kai Ren stepped closer, close enough that she could smell his cologne. Something expensive and sharp. Wrong. His voice dropped lower. I know your schedule. I know who you talk to. I know the men who've been following you for 3 weeks. He paused, letting that sink in. And I know they're coming here. Tonight. He reached into his coat and dropped a black envelope onto the counter. Photos spilled out, surveillance shots of Lamara leaving work, buying groceries, walking home. In every single one, red circles highlighted shadows in the background. Figures watching her. Her hands shook as she picked one up. Who are they? People who want leverage against me. Kai Ren's jaw tightened. And now your leverage. A metallic click echoed from the front of the apartment. Someone was trying the door handle. Kai Ren's voice turned into a whisper, urgent and deadly. If you want to live, you leave with me. Right. Now. Lamara's eyes locked on the door handle as it slowly turned. Before we continue, drop your location in the comments and hit the subscribe button for more intriguing and suspenseful Afro-Korean stories. Let's see where in the world you're watching from. Now back to the story. Lamara didn't have time to think. Kai Ren's hand wrapped around her wrist, firm but not painful, and he pulled her toward the bedroom. Wait, my phone, my purse. Leave them. But. Now, Lamara. The front door splintered open behind them. Footsteps. Multiple. Heavy boots against hardwood. Kai Ren shoved her bedroom window open and gestured outside. A fire escape she'd never noticed before. Below, 2 men in black tactical gear waited beside a sleek black SUV. Go. I can't. You can or you die. Choose. Lamara climbed through the window, her bare feet hitting cold metal. The December night air in Neo-Shanghai bit through her thin pajamas. Kai Ren followed immediately, his body shielding hers as they descended. Behind them, her apartment exploded with sound. Furniture crashing, men shouting in Mandarin. They're at the window, someone yelled. A gunshot cracked the night. Lamara screamed. Kai Ren wrapped an arm around her waist and jumped the last 6 feet, landing hard and pulling her with him. His guards had the SUV door open before they hit the ground. In. Now. She dove inside. Kai Ren slid in beside her, and the vehicle was moving before the door even closed. Bullets sparked off the reinforced metal as they peeled away from the curb. Lamara couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Her hands pressed against her stomach instinctively. Who were they? She gasped. Kai Ren didn't answer immediately. He was on his phone, speaking rapid-fire Mandarin to someone on the other end. When he hung up, his eyes found hers. The Iron Serpents. A rival syndicate. Syndicate. Her voice cracked. You're actually. Yes. No hesitation. No apology. I'm exactly what you think I am. The SUV swerved through traffic, the neon lights of Neo-Shanghai streaking past the tinted windows. Why me? Lamara whispered. Why would they target me? Kai Ren's expression hardened. Because 3 months ago, you spent one night with me. And that was enough. The safe house wasn't what Lamara expected. When the private elevator opened directly into a penthouse apartment, she'd braced herself for something cold and clinical. A place that screamed danger and violence. Instead, she stepped into warmth. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked Neo-Shanghai's glittering skyline. The furniture was modern but comfortable, soft leather couches, warm lighting, actual plants growing in hand-painted ceramic pots. And there, on a shelf near the window, a collection of books that made her heart stop. Yoruba poetry, Nigerian history, African architecture. You collected these? Her voice was barely audible. Kai Ren stood near the window, hands in his pockets, watching her. After that night, I wanted to understand you better. Lamara's throat tightened. You researched me. I researched everything about you. He said it like it was the most natural thing in the world. Your degree from Lagos. Your internship here. Your mother's restaurant back home. Your favorite color. The fact that you cry during animated movies, but not live-action ones. She struggled for words. That's stalking. That's protection. His tone sharpened. Someone inside my organization leaked information about your pregnancy. Someone I trusted. Until I find out who, you don't leave this building. I didn't agree to this. You don't have to. Kai Ren moved closer, and she hated how her body responded. A mix of fear and something dangerously close to attraction. The moment you became pregnant with my child, your agreement stopped mattering. This is survival now. An elderly woman emerged from what Lamara assumed was the kitchen. Small, elegant, with silver hair pulled into a neat bun. Madam Yun, Kai Ren said, his voice softening slightly. This is Lamara. She'll be staying in the east bedroom. The woman bowed slightly, then smiled at Lamara with genuine warmth. I'll prepare something for you to eat, child. You look pale. I'm not hungry. You're eating. Kai Ren cut her off. For the baby. Lamara wanted to argue, but her stomach betrayed her with a loud growl. Madam Yun chuckled and disappeared back into the kitchen. Your room is across from mine, Kai Ren said. If you need anything. I need to go home. Home doesn't exist anymore. His eyes met hers, and for the first time, she saw something other than control in them. Something almost like regret. Not until this is over. Lamara's room was beautiful, which somehow made everything worse. A king-size bed with silk sheets. A private bathroom with a soaking tub. Clothes already hanging in the closet. Her size, her style, some still with tags on. How long have you been planning this? She whispered to the empty room. A soft knock interrupted her spiral. Come in. Madam Yin entered carrying a tray. The smell hit Lamara first. Pepper soup, exactly the way her mother made it back in Lagos. The spices, the goat meat, even the yuzaisa leaves floating on top. Tears burned Lamara's eyes. How did you? Mr. Kai provided the recipe, Madam Yun said gently, setting the tray on the bedside table. He said you might need comfort food tonight. Lamara's hands shook as she picked up the spoon. The first taste broke something inside her. She was in a foreign country, trapped in a luxury prison, pregnant by a man she barely knew who happened to run a criminal empire. And he'd made sure she had pepper soup. I don't understand him, she said quietly. Madam Yin smiled. Neither does he, child. That's why he's so dangerous right now. After the older woman left, Lamara tried the soup. It was perfect. She hated that it was perfect. She hated more that it made her feel safe. Around midnight, she heard movement in the hallway. Footsteps. Kai Ren's voice low and tense, speaking to someone. Double the perimeter guards. I want cameras on every entrance. And find me that leak before sunrise, or I'll find them myself. The threat in his voice should have terrified her. Instead, knowing that violence was directed at protecting her, Lamara felt something she didn't want to name. She pressed her hand against her stomach. What have we gotten ourselves into, little one? Lamara woke to sunlight streaming through windows she hadn't closed. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then reality crashed back. She was in a Mafia safe house. Pregnant. Trapped. A note had been slipped under her door. Breakfast is ready. We need to talk. Hey. She found Kai Ren on the balcony. A spread of food laid out on the table. Fruit, pastries, eggs, and surprisingly, akara and pap. You're really committed to this Nigerian cuisine research, she said, sitting down cautiously. I'm committed to keeping you healthy. He poured her juice. Eat. You can't just order me around. I can when your stubbornness might hurt my child. My child. Not our child. The possessiveness stung. What did you want to talk about? Lamara asked, picking at the akara. Kai Ren set down his coffee cup. We're getting married. She choked on her juice. Excuse me. In Chinese syndicate culture, a wife is untouchable. Killing someone's spouse triggers blood feuds that last generations. Right now you're a target. As my wife, you become protected by tradition. That's insane. That's survival. He leaned forward. Every major family in this city will think twice before moving against you. It's the only way. No. Lamara stood up. I'm not marrying you. Lamara. You don't even love me. We barely know each other. Kai Ren stood too. And suddenly they were inches apart. Love. His laugh was bitter. Love is a luxury I can't afford. But I will protect what's mine, and whether you accept it or not, you and that baby are mine now. I'm not property. Then what are you? His voice dropped dangerously low. Because 3 months ago, you were a stranger I spent one incredible night with. Now you're carrying my heir, my organization has a traitor, and rival syndicates want to use you to destroy me. So tell me, Lamara, what are you if not mine to protect? She slapped him. The crack echoed across the balcony. Kai Ren didn't move, didn't react, just stood there, a red mark blooming on his cheek. I'm a person, she said quietly, with choices, and feelings, and a life I didn't ask to lose. Something shifted in his expression. The mask cracked. I know. His voice roughened. I know and I'm sorry. But sorry doesn't stop bullets. Sorry doesn't prevent kidnappings. Sorry doesn't. He stopped, running a hand through his hair. When he looked at her again, his eyes were raw. After that night with you, I tried to forget. I buried myself in work, in strategy, in everything that usually matters. But I couldn't. He stepped closer. I couldn't stop thinking about your laugh. The way you argued with me about architecture and city design. The intelligence in your eyes. The softness you try so hard to hide. Lamara's breath hitched. When I found out you were pregnant, something in me. He struggled for words. I've killed people, Lamara. Destroyed lives. Built an empire on blood and fear. But the thought of something happening to you, to our child, it terrifies me in ways violence never has. He pulled out a phone from his pocket. Not his usual one. A simple smartphone. Your family's numbers are programmed in. The line is encrypted. You can call them whenever you want. Lamara took the phone with shaking hands. She opened the contacts. Mama. Papa. Her younger sister Chioma. Tears spilled over. This doesn't make you less of a monster, she whispered. I know. Kai Ren's jaw tightened. But maybe it makes me your monster. Lamara was alone in the living room, video calling her mother, when the private elevator dinged. She looked up, expecting Kai Ren. Instead, a woman stepped out. Tall, elegant, wearing a blood-red dress that probably cost more than Lamara's entire education. Her hair was pulled back in a severe bun, makeup perfect, and her eyes, cold and calculating, locked onto Lamara immediately. So you're the Nigerian girl. Lamara stood up quickly, phone still in hand. Who are you? Sora May. The woman circled her slowly, predatory. Kai Ren's former ally, and the woman who was supposed to marry him. Lamara's stomach dropped. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't play stupid. It's beneath you. Sora May stopped in front of her, close enough that Lamara could smell her perfume. Something sharp and expensive. Our families had an arrangement. A merger marriage. Power combined. And then you. She gestured dismissively. Happened. I didn't know about any arrangement. Of course you didn't. Sora May smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Women who sleep with Kai Ren rarely live long enough to regret it. The last one, before you, ended up at the bottom of Huangpu River. Lamara's blood ran cold. You're lying. Am I? Sora May leaned in. Ask him about Mei Lin. His former translator. Sweet girl. Got pregnant too. Unfortunate accident, they said. Fell from her balcony. That's enough. Kai Ren's voice cut through the room like a blade. He strode out of his office, fury radiating from every step. You're not welcome here, Sora. I'm welcome everywhere, darling. She turned to face him. Our families still have business. Or did you forget that while you were playing house with your... What is she, exactly? A pet. Get out. Kai Ren's hand moved to the gun at his hip. Now. Sora May's eyes flickered to Lamara one last time. Enjoy the penthouse, little bird. But remember, cages are still cages no matter how pretty. She walked back to the elevator. And pretty birds are so easy to clip. The elevator doors closed. Silence. Lamara found her voice first. Mei Lin. Who was she? Kai Ren's jaw worked. Someone I failed to protect. Did she really fall from her balcony? No. His eyes met hers, and she saw genuine pain there. She was pushed. By people I trusted. I found them afterward. They didn't die quickly. Lamara sank onto the couch. And now I'm here. In the same position. You're different. How? Her voice rose. How am I different? I'm pregnant, I'm trapped, I'm surrounded by people who want to use me. Because this time I won't fail. Kai Ren knelt in front of her, his hands on her knees. Mei Lin died because I was arrogant. I thought my reputation alone would protect her. I was wrong. I learned. And I will burn this entire city to ash before I let history repeat itself. The intensity in his eyes should have scared her. Instead, Lamara felt her resistance crumbling. I'm terrified of you, she admitted quietly. Good. His thumb brushed her knee. Fear keeps you alive. But Lamara, I need you to understand something. I'm more terrified of losing you. That night, Lamara couldn't sleep. She stood on the balcony, wrapped in a blanket, staring at Neo Shanghai's endless lights. The city looks so beautiful from up here. So peaceful. Nothing like the violence churning beneath its surface. You should be sleeping. She didn't turn around. So should you. Kai Ren joined her at the railing, maintaining a careful distance. For a long moment, they stood in silence. Did you mean what you said earlier? Lamara asked. About trying to forget me? Every word. Then why didn't you? He was quiet for so long she thought he wouldn't answer. Because you laughed at me. Lamara blinked. What? That night, when I told you what I did for a living, you laughed. Kai Ren's voice was soft, almost vulnerable. Not in fear. Not in judgment. You just laughed. And said, well, that explains the mysterious rich guy routine. Despite everything, Lamara felt her lips twitch. She remembered that moment. The expensive hotel bar. His careful probing questions. The way he'd finally admitted he wasn't exactly a legitimate businessman. Most people react with fear or greed, Kai Ren continued. They either run or try to use me. You did neither. You just accepted it and kept talking about sustainable architecture in developing cities. I was probably too drunk to process it properly, she murmured. You had 2 drinks all night. He turned to face her. You were sober. And brilliant. And so alive that being near you felt like... He struggled. Like remembering I was human. Lamara's throat tightened. I'm not some magical cure for your conscience, Kai. I know. He moved closer. You're something worse. What's that? Someone I actually care about keeping alive. The words hung between them. This isn't love, Lamara whispered, even as her traitorous heart sped up. No. Kai Ren reached out, his fingers brushing her cheek with devastating gentleness. It's worse. Love I could control, could compartmentalize. This. His hand cupped her face. This is addiction. Obsession. The kind of want that makes men burn empires. That's not romantic. That's terrifying. I never promised you romance. His thumb traced her lower lip. I promised you survival. They were too close now. Lamara could feel his breath on her skin, could see the war in his eyes. Control versus desire. We can't, she breathed. I know. But neither of them moved away. Kai Ren leaned in, his forehead touching hers. If I kiss you right now, he said quietly, I won't stop. And you deserve better than being wanted by a monster on a balcony. Maybe I don't want better. The words escaped before Lamara could stop them. Maybe I want honest. His control cracked. His hand slid into her hair. His phone buzzed violently. Kai Ren jerked back, cursing in Mandarin. He yanked the phone out. What? Whatever he heard made his expression go deadly. Lock it down. Now. I'm on my way. He hung up and looked at Lamara, all softness gone. Someone uninvited just entered the building. Kai Ren moved with military precision, speaking into his phone while guiding Lamara back inside. How many floors down? Pause. And you're sure it's not scheduled? Pause. Then treat it as hostile. He ended the call and turned to Lamara. Stay here. Lock the door. Don't open it for anyone but me or Madame Yin. What's happening? Someone bypassed building security. They're on floor 42. We're on floor 60, Lamara said. That's 18 floors away. I know. Kai Ren pulled a handgun from a drawer she hadn't known existed. It's too close. A knock on the main door. They both froze. Mr. Kai. A familiar voice. Jun Tao, Kai Ren's top strategist. We need to talk. Now. Kai Ren motioned for Lamara to stay back. He approached the door, gun hidden behind his back. Talk through the door. Sir, I found the leak. Who? Silence. June, who is it? That's complicated, sir. I need to show you something. Evidence. Kai Ren's jaw tightened. Something about this felt wrong. But Jun Tao had been with him for 7 years. Loyal. Tested. He opened the door. Jun Tao stood there, tablet in hand, looking genuinely distressed. Behind him, 3 guards Lamara recognized from earlier. Show me, Kai Ren said. June pulled up surveillance footage. Lamara crept closer despite herself. The video showed someone in the building's server room, 3 weeks ago, downloading files. The figure's face was hidden, but their movements were confident. Familiar. We traced the digital signature, Jun Tao said quietly. Sir, it's someone with level 5 clearance. That's only 6 people. I know. Jun Tao looked sick. Sir, the evidence points to Madame Yin. That's impossible. Kai Ren's voice went deadly quiet. She's been with my family for 40 years. I know. But the data doesn't lie. She's been passing information to the Iron Serpents for months. Lamara's mind raced. Madame Yin, who'd made her pepper soup with such care. Who'd smiled at her with genuine warmth. Where is she now? Kai Ren asked. Kitchen, sir. Preparing tea. Kai Ren moved toward the kitchen. Jun Tao following. Lamara stayed in the living room, her heart pounding. Something felt wrong. Horribly wrong. She looked at the guards Jun Tao had brought. They stood too rigid, too alert. And one of them was sweating despite the cool air conditioning. Lamara's instincts screamed. She ran toward the kitchen. Kai, wait. The explosion came from outside. Not inside. A blast that shook the entire building. The lights flickered. Emergency alarms blared. Kai Ren whirled back toward the living room just as the guards pulled their weapons. Not on him, but on the exits. Jun Tao smiled. I'm sorry, sir. But Sora May pays better. Everything happened at once. Kai Ren shot one of the fake guards before anyone could blink. The man dropped, his weapon clattering. Get Lamara to the panic room. Kai Ren shouted. But Jun Tao was already moving, grabbing Lamara around the waist. She screamed, kicking, clawing at his face. Let her go. Kai Ren's voice turned into something inhuman. Now, or I'll make sure you die over the course of days, not minutes. Jun Tao pressed a gun to Lamara's temple. Drop yours first. The second fake guard aimed at Kai Ren's head. Stalemate. Lamara forced herself to breathe. To think. Jun Tao's grip was tight, but not perfect. His attention was on Kai Ren, not her. She slammed her head backward into his nose. Jun Tao screamed. His grip loosened for 1 second. Kai Ren shot the second guard. Madame Yin appeared from the kitchen wielding a meat cleaver and brought it down on Jun Tao's shoulder. Not deep enough to kill, but enough to make him release Lamara completely. Run, child, the old woman yelled. Lamara stumbled toward Kai Ren. He caught her with one arm, still aiming at Jun Tao with the other. You were never the leak, Kai Ren said to Madame Yin. Of course not. She kicked Jun Tao's gun away. I raised you, boy. I'd sooner die. Another explosion rocked the building, closer this time. They're breaching lower floors. Jun Tao spat blood. Sora May has 50 men in this building. You're already dead. Kai Ren shot him in the leg. Wrong. I'm already angry. There's a difference. He pulled Lamara toward his bedroom. There's a tunnel. I had it installed 6 months ago. 6 months. Lamara gasped. You've been planning this. I've been planning for the day someone would try to take something I cared about. I just didn't know it would be you. In his closet, behind a false panel, a reinforced door led to a narrow stairwell. Madame Yin handed Kai Ren a go bag. Your documents, money, weapons. Go. Come with us. Someone needs to slow them down. The old woman smiled. Besides, I'm too old for running. Now go protect that girl and her baby. Kai Ren kissed her forehead. Thank you. For everything. Make them pay, child. They descended into darkness, emergency lighting barely illuminating the stairs. Lamara's hands pressed against the concrete walls, her heart racing. Behind them, gunfire erupted. Shouting. Madame Yin buying them time. How far does this go? Lamara asked. 3 blocks. Exits in the subway maintenance tunnels. They ran. 20 floors. 30. Lamara's legs burned. Her lungs screamed. But she kept moving because Kai Ren's hand gripped hers like an anchor. At the bottom, Kai Ren checked his phone. My second team is waiting at the extraction point. We have a vehicle. Footsteps echoed from above. Fast. Multiple people. They found the tunnel, Lamara whispered. Kai Ren pulled her into a maintenance alcove, his body shielding hers. In the darkness, she could feel his heart pounding against her back. When I say run, he whispered in her ear. You run. Don't look back. Don't wait. The extraction team will get you out. What about you? I'll be right behind you. Liar. His breath hitched. Lamara. You're planning to hold them off. Buy me time. It's my job to protect you. Your job is to survive. She turned in his arms, her hands fisting in his shirt. That baby? Our baby? They need a father, not a martyr. The footsteps were getting closer. Kai Ren's forehead touched hers. I promise, he breathed. I'll survive this. For you. For them. You better. He kissed her. Fast, desperate, tasting like fear and fury and something terrifyingly close to love. Then he pulled back and opened the maintenance door. Run. They made it to the extraction point, barely. Kai Ren took 3 bullets, his vest caught 2, the third grazed his shoulder. Sora May's men pursued them through the subway tunnels until Kai Ren's backup team cut them off. Now 20 hours later, Lamara stood in a villa she'd never known existed. It was hidden in the mountains outside Neo-Shanghai, surrounded by forest and equipped with enough security to rival a military installation. Inside, it felt like a home, warm, lived in, with touches of both Chinese and African design. You planned this place too, Lamara said quietly. Kai Ren sat on the couch, shirtless while the on-site medic stitched his shoulder. He didn't flinch. After Maylin died, I swore I'd always have somewhere safe. Somewhere even my organization didn't know about. His eyes found hers. I just never thought I'd actually need it. The medic finished and packed up. You'll heal. Try not to get shot again this week. No promises. When they were alone, Lamara sat beside him carefully. Thank you, she said. For keeping your promise. For surviving. I had good motivation. His hand found hers. How are you feeling? The baby? Fine. Scared. Confused. She looked at their intertwined fingers. Kai, what happens now? He was quiet for a long moment. Now I tell you the complete truth. The part I've been avoiding. Lamara's stomach clenched. What part? Kai Ren turned to face her fully. Sora May's vendetta isn't just about a broken engagement. It's personal. He took a breath. 7 years ago, your father, Dr. Adebayo, was contracted by the Nigerian government to assess corruption in international development projects. Lamara's blood ran cold. What does my father have to do with this? One of the projects he flagged for corruption was a Chinese construction company. They were using development funds to launder money. Kai Ren's jaw tightened. That company belonged to Sora May's family. Your father's report destroyed their international operations. Her brother went to prison. Her father committed suicide. No. Lamara stood up, stumbling backward. No, that can't be. She's been tracking your family for years, waiting for the right moment to strike back. Kai Ren stood too. When she found out about us, about the pregnancy, she saw her chance. Hurt you, hurt your family, and destroy me in the process. Lamara's hands shook. So I was a target even before I met you. Yes. I just made you a more valuable one. Oh God. She pressed her hands to her face. My family, are they safe? I have a team protecting them in Lagos. They don't know why, but they're secure. Lamara couldn't finish. Her whole world was collapsing. I need air. She stumbled toward the villa's back door, out onto a wooden deck that overlooked the mountains. The afternoon sun painted everything gold. Kai Ren followed, giving her space but staying close. I won't let her touch you, he said quietly. Or your family. Or our child. How can you promise that? Lamara's voice broke. She has resources. Power. A vendetta that goes back years. And I have something stronger. Kai Ren moved to stand in front of her. I have everything to lose. Lamara looked up at him, this dangerous man who'd upended her entire life. What are you going to do? His eyes went hard. I'm going to end Sorame, even if it means destroying the entire Red Helix syndicate. That's your organization. It stopped being mine the moment they threatened you. He cupped her face. I'll burn it all down, Lamara. Every alliance. Every connection. Every piece of the empire I built. Because none of it matters if you're not alive to see our child born. That's insane. That's love. The word seemed to surprise him as much as her. Or obsession. Or whatever this is. I don't know anymore. I just know that you're the only thing that matters. Lamara's eyes burned with tears she refused to shed. I'm terrified, she admitted. So am I. How do you survive being this scared? Kai Ren pulled her close, his arms wrapping around her like he could shield her from the world. One day at a time. One moment at a time. Together. Lamara buried her face in his chest, breathing him in. Smoke and sandalwood and survival. Together, she whispered. 3 days at the villa. 3 days of Kai Ren on the phone, calling in favors, moving pieces on a chessboard Lamara couldn't see. 3 days of watching him plan Sora May's destruction with the cold efficiency that had built his empire. 3 days of Lamara learning to load a gun just in case. She was in the villa's library, actually reading one of the Yoruba poetry books, when her encrypted phone buzzed. Unknown number. Is the baby really his? Lamara's blood froze. Lamara, who is this? Unknown number. Asterisk, someone who wonders if Kai Ren knows you slept with your ex-boyfriend 2 weeks before that night at the hotel bar. Does he know the baby might not be his? Asterisk. Lamara's hands started shaking so badly she nearly dropped the phone. Lamara. That's a lie. I haven't seen Marcus in months. Unknown number. Then explain the surveillance photos I'm attaching. Time-stamped. Dated. Very convincing. 3 images loaded. Lamara outside a restaurant. A man beside her who could, from the right angle, look like Marcus. Their hands close together on the table. But that wasn't Marcus. That was her cousin David, visiting from London. They'd had dinner to celebrate his new job. This was a manipulation. A test. Lamara. Photoshopped lies won't work on me. Try harder, Sora. Unknown number. Clever girl. But lies don't need to be true to destroy trust. They just need to be believable. How long? Before Kai Ren starts wondering? How long before doubt creeps in? He's already killed for less. Lamara deleted the conversation and blocked the number. But her hands wouldn't stop shaking. What's wrong? Kai Ren stood in the doorway, his shirt half unbuttoned, shoulders still bandaged. His eyes went immediately to her face, reading her terror. Nothing. Don't lie to me. He crossed the room in 3 strides. What happened? Lamara showed him the blocked number, the deleted conversation. Sora May sent fake photos. Tried to make you think the baby isn't yours. She expected anger. Suspicion. The dangerous coldness she'd seen him use on others. Instead, Kai Ren laughed. Actually laughed. A sound so unexpected that Lamara just stared. What's funny about that? The fact that she's desperate enough to try. He took the phone, examined it. Classic psychological warfare. Plant doubt. Watch the relationship implode from within. He handed it back. It won't work. How can you be so sure? Kai Ren's eyes softened. Because I had you followed from the moment we met. Lamara's stomach dropped. You what? Not in a creepy way, he paused. Okay, yes, in exactly a creepy way. But protective surveillance. I knew about your cousin's visit. I knew about every coffee shop, every grocery run, every single person you interacted with. He stepped closer. I know that baby is mine, Lamara. Not because I trust blindly, but because I've always been watching. She struggled between outrage and relief. That's so invasive. I'm aware. He didn't look apologetic. But it also means Sora May's tactics won't work. I know the truth. A phone buzzed his this time. Kai Ren's expression changed instantly. It's Jun Tao's encrypted phone. Someone's using it. He answered, putting it on speaker. Mr. Kai. Jun Tao's voice, but strained. Hurt. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Jun. Kai Ren's voice went deadly. Where are you? She has me. At the old warehouse district. She wants to make a trade. What trade? Sora May's voice came through, smooth and satisfied. Hello, darling. Quite the chase you've led me on. But I'm getting bored. What do you want, Sora? Simple. You and the girl come to me. Unarmed. Alone. By midnight tonight. A pause. Or I start mailing Juntao back to you in pieces. And then I move on to Nigeria. I believe Dr. Adebayo is teaching a class tomorrow morning. Room 304, University of Lagos? Be such a shame if something happened. Lamara grabbed Kai Ren's arm. My father is perfectly safe, Kai Ren said, his eyes never leaving the phone. My team in Lagos is already moving him to a secure location. Your mother and sister too. Smart boy, Sora May purred. But I have resources everywhere. You can't protect everyone forever. Eventually someone slips. Someone makes a mistake. And then, a sound in the background. Juntao screaming. Someone dies. The scream cut off abruptly. Midnight, Sora May repeated. Warehouse 47, Dock District. Come alone, or everyone you've ever cared about starts dying. Oh, and Kai? Bring the Nigerian girl. I want to meet the woman who finally broke the great Kai Ren's heart. The line went dead. Silence filled the villa. Lamara found her voice first. We can't go. It's obviously a trap. Of course it's a trap. Kai Ren was already moving, pulling up schematics on his tablet. But she's counting on my pride preventing me from walking into it. So we're actually going? No. He looked up, eyes glinting. We're going to beat her at her own game. Warehouse 47 sat on the edge of Neo-Shanghai's abandoned dock district. A maze of rusted metal and broken concrete where the law didn't venture. Lamara sat in a van 3 blocks away, wearing a bulletproof vest that felt suffocating and watching Kai Ren prep his team through a crackling radio. I still think this is insane, she said. Noted. Kai Ren checked his weapon, one of many. For the record, you were supposed to stay at the villa. And you were supposed to be honest about your plans. Lamara crossed her arms. I heard you on the phone. You were going to offer yourself in exchange for my safety. That was plan A. What's plan B? We both survive. He looked at her then, really looked at her. I promised you, remember? I'm not dying tonight. One of Kai Ren's men, a scarred veteran named Wei, leaned in. Sir, thermal imaging shows approximately 30 hostiles inside. Sora May is on the 2nd floor, center position. Juntao is with her, restrained. Explosives. Rigged on all major exits. She's not planning to let anyone leave. Perfect. Kai Ren smiled without humor. Then we don't use the exits. He turned to Lamara, his expression softening marginally. When I give the signal, Wei drives you to the extraction point. There's a helicopter waiting. It'll take you to Hong Kong, then a private plane to Lagos. You're sending me away. I'm keeping you alive. By sacrificing yourself. By doing what I do best. Kai Ren cupped her face. Trust me, please. Lamara wanted to argue. Wanted to scream that this was stupid and reckless and exactly the kind of heroic nonsense that got people killed. Instead, she kissed him. hard and desperate and terrified. Come back to me, she whispered against his lips. Always. Kai Ren pulled away, grabbed his gear and signaled his team. 12 men, all willing to die for him. All about to walk into hell. Lamara watched them disappear into the darkness. Miss Adebayo, Wei said quietly. You should know. The boss, he's never brought a woman into the organization before. Never trusted anyone enough. You changed something in him. I broke something in him, you mean? No. Wei smiled slightly. You made him human again. That's more dangerous than anything Sora May can do. Inside warehouse 47, Kai Ren entered through the ground floor. Hands visibly empty, walking like he owned the crumbling building. Sora. His voice echoed. I'm here. Alone. As requested. Lights flickered on above. Sora May stood on the second-floor catwalk, Juntao kneeling beside her with a gun to his head. Blood stained his face. Where's the girl? Sora May called down. Safe. Far from here. This is between us. That's not what I asked for. You're not getting her. Kai Ren stopped in the center of the floor. But you can have me. Sora May laughed. Still playing the hero? How noble. How stupid. She pressed the gun harder against Juntao's temple. I'll ask one more time. Where is Lamara Adebayo? Somewhere you'll never find her. Wrong answer. She pulled the trigger. But the gun clicked empty. Juntao moved, not like a prisoner, like a fighter, slamming his elbow into Sora May's stomach and rolling away. Now, Kai Ren shouted. The warehouse exploded with movement. Kai Ren's team poured in from hidden positions, ceiling hatches, drainage tunnels, even through the walls they'd pre-weakened. Not 12 men. 30. Sora May's people tried to react, but they'd been outmaneuvered. Flashbangs disoriented them. Smoke grenades provided cover. And Kai Ren moved through it like death incarnate. 3 men down before they knew he was armed. 5 more as his team coordinated with military precision. Sora May ran. Of course she ran. Heading for the north exit. Which was exactly what Kai Ren wanted. He cut her off at the stairwell, gun raised. It's over, Sora. She spun, her own weapon drawn. They stood 10 feet apart, both armed, both deadly. You think you've won? Sora May's laugh was manic. I have contingencies. Backups. People loyal to me in places you can't imagine. I know. I've been hunting them for 3 days. Kai Ren's voice was cold. Your banker in Singapore? Dead. Your weapons supplier in Bangkok? Dead. The politician you bought in Beijing? Singing like a bird to my contacts in the ministry. You're lying. Your entire network is collapsing as we speak. I burned it all, Sora. Every connection. Every safe house. Every ally. Just like I promised. Sora May's hand shook. The Red Helix Syndicate is mine again. I cleaned house. Anyone loyal to you is gone. He stepped closer. You wanted to destroy me by taking something I loved? Congratulations. You made me realize what actually matters. And then you gave me the motivation to become truly ruthless. So what now? Sora May's voice turned desperate. You kill me? That's not your style, Kai. You're better than that. I was. His finger tightened on the trigger. But she changed me. Behind Sora May, Juntao appeared, bloodied but alive. In his hand, zip ties. Don't kill her, boss, Juntao said. Death is too easy. Let the authorities have her. Let her rot in prison knowing she failed. Kai Ren considered this. Lowered his gun slightly. You're right. Death would be mercy. Sora May's eyes widened. Kai, please. Your family destroyed Lamara's father's work. You tried to destroy my family. Kai Ren's eyes went cold. Now watch as I destroy everything you built. Starting with your reputation. He pulled out a phone. Pressed play. Sora May's voice filled the warehouse. Recordings from the past weeks. Her admitting to murders. To trafficking. To bribing officials. Every crime documented. Every confession recorded. This goes to every news outlet, every law enforcement agency, every syndicate family in Asia, Kai Ren said. By morning, you're not just a criminal. You're a liability. No one will protect you. No one will shelter you. You'll be completely alone. You bastard. Juntao tackled her before she could raise her weapon. Within seconds, she was restrained, screaming threats that meant nothing anymore. Kai Ren walked away without looking back. The villa in the mountains had become home. Lamara stood on the deck, her hand resting on her swollen belly, watching the sunset paint the sky orange and pink. 6 months pregnant now, healthy and safe. Behind her, the sliding door opened. You're supposed to be resting, Kai Ren said, carrying 2 cups of tea. I'm pregnant, not broken. But she took the tea gratefully. How was the city? Boring. Paperwork. Legitimate business is surprisingly tedious. He wrapped an arm around her waist, his hand covering hers on her stomach. How's my daughter? Still kicking like she's training for martial arts. Lamara smiled. And we don't know if it's a girl. I know. You bribed the ultrasound technician, didn't you? I prefer the term financially encouraged. Lamara laughed, that sound he'd fallen in love with, and leaned back against him. 3 months since Sora May's arrest. The trial was still ongoing, but it was open and shut. Her entire empire had crumbled. Kai Ren had kept his promise. He'd dismantled the violent parts of his organization, transforming the Red Helix Syndicate into something almost legitimate. Almost. My parents want to visit, Lamara said quietly. After the baby comes. I know. I've been arranging security. Kai. What? I'm allowed to be protective. There's protective, and there's suffocating. He turned her in his arms, his expression serious. I almost lost you. Multiple times. Forgive me if I'm a little intense about keeping you safe. Lamara reached up, touching his face. You saved me. Multiple times. But you also need to let me breathe. I'm working on it. He pressed his forehead to hers. It's harder than dismantling criminal enterprises, turns out. How's Juntao? Recovering. He's got a new position, head of legitimate security operations. Turns out being willing to fake a betrayal to help with a double cross earns a lot of trust. You two are insane. We prefer strategically creative. The baby kicked hard enough that Kai Ren felt it. His entire expression softened, something that still surprised Lamara, seeing this dangerous man turn gentle. I never thought I'd have this, he admitted quietly. Family. Home. Someone who actually wants me to come back alive. You're stuck with us now. Lamara smiled. No refunds. Good. He kissed her forehead. Because I'm never letting go. Inside the villa, Lamara's phone buzzed. A message from her mother, excited about baby names. A photo from her sister Chioma, showing off the nursery decorations she was planning. Normal. Safe. Loved. Kai Ren's phone buzzed too. Business, always business, but he ignored it. It can wait, he said. Since when do you ignore business calls? Since I learned what actually matters. His hand moved to her stomach again. Right here. This is my empire now. Lamara's eyes burned with tears. Happy ones for once. I love you, she said. The first time she'd said it out loud. Kai Ren's breath caught. You what? I love you. Even though you're controlling and overprotective and slightly terrifying. I love you. He kissed her then, soft and desperate and full of promises. I love you too, he whispered against her lips. So much it scares me more than any enemy ever has. Good. Lamara smiled. Fear keeps you alive. He laughed, that rare, genuine sound, and pulled her closer. As the sun set over the mountains and the city lights began to glow in the distance, Lamara thought about how far she'd come. From a pregnancy test on a bathroom floor to this. Safety, love, and a future she never imagined. The Mafia king who'd once terrified her now held her like she was made of glass and steel simultaneously. Precious and unbreakable. And their daughter, because Kai Ren was definitely right about that, kicked again, as if reminding them both that the best part of their story was still coming. What are you thinking? Kai Ren asked. Lamara looked up at him. That this is the strangest love story I've ever heard of. Is it a good one? She pretended to consider. Ask me in 18 years when our daughter brings home her first boyfriend, and you have to resist running a background check. I'm absolutely running a background check. I know. Lamara laughed. That's why I love you. The night settled around them, peaceful and perfect. For now, the danger had passed. The war had been won. And two people who'd started as strangers bound by one night. And one choice had become something neither of them expected. A family. If you made it this far, you're officially part of the family. Drop a red heart in the comments and tell me. Team Kai Ren or Team Run for your life? Don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. Part 2 might be coming if this hits 10K likes. I see you in the next one.